long-standing legal and social structures that leave farm workers behind. This is the story of agricultural exceptionalism in the United States, a system that quietly carves farm labor out of basic rights. To begin, let's turn our attention to the field, to the very roots of the food system. As the sun rises over vast green fields, farm workers enter rows of crops with quiet urgency. They are the really backbone of the agricultural economy. Yet, they often remain unseen, unheard, and unprotected. Their labor is essential, but their rights are often optional. This documentary explores the policies that made it this way and the movements working to change. We start with the central idea driving this exclusion, agricultural exceptionalism. The next part of the video shows how the farm labor struggles in the United States and that I gathered from the internet for my documentary.
Have you ever stopped to think about how the food on your plate got there? Many might say, I bought it, I paid for it, I worked for it. And while that's true, have you ever considered the labor behind that meal? Behind every bite you take, there's a single mother working long, exhausting hours to provide for her children. There's a father breaking his back every day, earning barely enough to survive. There are teenagers who should be in school chasing their dreams, but instead they are in the fields because their families have no other choice. These are the unseen hands that make sure America is fed. Every meal tells a story of resilience, of sacrifice, of people who give everything they have so that this country could keep moving forward. Yet, their struggles are often overlooked. People see the food, but not the faces, the hard work, but not the hardship. This country runs on immigrants. It runs on the blood, sweat, and tears of strong Latino workers who labor in silence so that America could thrive. Legal or not, they are human beings who deserve dignity, respect, and justice.
Agricultural exceptionalism is the belief that agriculture should be treated differently, legally and economically, because of its structural and historical significance. While this may sound innocent in practice, it has meant shielding the industry from labor standards, environmental rules, and scrutiny. It's an exception that has come at cost to workers, to families, and to justice. This exceptionalism was written into American law nearly a century ago. When Congress passed landmark labor laws in the 1930s, farm workers were left out. The Fair Labor Standards Act and the National Labor Relations Act excluded them, along with domestic workers. The reason behind this is politics, power, and race. Southern lawmakers determined to control a black labor force resisted protection for those working in the fields. These exclusions were not oversights, they were calculated. And those choices continue to shape lives today. When we visit a modern farm, and you will see the echoes of that past, farm workers still face long hours without overtime pay. Many live in unsafe housing and experience dangerous working conditions. Children still work in fields, and most are denied the right to unionize or advocate for better treatment. These aren't just policy gaps, they are daily realities. The impacts go beyond wages and working hours. They extend to health, safety, and even the land itself. Farm workers face one of the most hazardous jobs in the country, from pesticide exposure to heat illness, from repetitive injuries to lack of medical care. These issues are rarely addressed by employers or regulators. Meanwhile, environmental protections often overlook rural and migrant communities, leaving workers and their families vulnerable to contaminated water and poor living conditions. So, where does the global community stand on these issues? The United States participates in global food safety through Codex Alimentarius, a system that helps harmonize food quality standards. While this has helped improve product safety, it hasn't done much for labor. Worker protections haven't kept up. In a globalized world, the food we eat is held to high standards, but the people who grow it are not. Despite these challenges, a movement for fairness is growing louder.
When you go to the grocery store and you see a bag of potatoes, a bag of onions, produce on your table, food on your table, just think about the hands that they were picking those products for you, because they were hard-working hands. working for the food that you have on your table and all the food that you have for your family. We're a hard-working people. We're not here to do bad things. We're trying to be good for this country because we really love this country. We're here to work. We're here to do good. We're here to working hard to feed others, all United States family. I was working on the fields. I started working as QA, like being inspector of the produce. I started going to school. I went to get my GED diploma. I did some classes on college. I had a lot of opportunities, and the same opportunities that I have that this country has given to me. I would like to this country think about those people that they're working hard to, instead of deporting them, just try to help them out because they have a lot of value for this country.
All across the country, people are fighting back. Grassroots organizations, legal scholars, and labor unions are pushing to eliminate these outdated exemptions. They are demanding recognition, respect, and reform. These are not just policy battles, they are human rights movements. They remind us that behind every tomato, strawberry, or melon is a person who deserves dignity. And that brings us to the most important question: what kind of food system do we want? In this documentary, before I mentioned the video about hidden power behind our food. To come up those challenges, I will recommend some solutions. Those are amend existing labor laws. Some of the authors propose amending statutes such as the Fair Labor Standards Act to include farm workers in minimum wage, overtime, and collective bargaining protection. The second is improve enforcement. This underlines the importance of better enforcement methods to ensure that existing regulations are followed, especially in distant or neglected agricultural regions. The third is to increase access to legal services. Recognizing the challenges farm workers experience in defending their rights, the essay calls for expanded funding and support for legal aid organizations. And finally, immigration reform. While not confined to labor legislation, the authors contend that giving undocumented farm workers legal status and a path to citizenship would considerably improve their bargaining power and working conditions. With this, I would like to conclude that the laws that created agricultural exceptionalism can be rewritten. What was once used to divide and control can now be changed to unify and protect. A just food system begins with fair treatment of all who labor within it. Ending agricultural exceptionalism isn't just a legal correction, but it's a moral stand. The time to act is now. These are the references that I collected for my documentary. Thank you everyone.